Hey, what's up? I'm here, and let's just get started. I just concluded, well, for the time being, Rhythm Heaven Fever, although, I guess I'll maybe come back to it once I'm feeling up for the challenge, since those perfects can be quite brutal in the later few games, but, we're not here for Rhythm Heaven Fever, we're here for a Do-Fi. And, well, we're just going to be playing more suggestions, so let's just get started. Okay. Alright, here we go. So, now here's the thing that you should know about this level. This level is incredibly long, for no reason. I mean, I guess it is long for a reason, it's just that the song is pretty long, but the start does take a little while. And also, I do remember some sight reading things that I need to kind of know about this. So, by the way, this triangle, back to back, but you only have one beat to react to it. However, you can tell if like the shadow of a tile is a little bit darker. And that's how I'm gonna be able to tell if it's, a back-to-back triangle or not. I will say, it is not very sight read friendly, but that's fine. Like this. You notice that the shadow on those tiles were a little bit darker. It might be a little bit subtle, or maybe not, I don't know. But that will happen a lot, and I hope you're gonna get used to that. I'm not sure if I just saw. I think the Midnight Train was there, I think. Unless I'm misremembering. Now here's something that you should expect later on. There's actually a double DP in this chart. I do remember it, because, yeah. It gets a bit hectic near the end, but it's the same rhythm constantly, so should be fine. Bam. There you go. Nice. So, map by Team Pure, which I think there's only like one chart from this team anyway, and like the video that showcases this is actually unlisted, although you can still watch it if you, I think I did include a link in the description, so you can still watch the showcase of this. Don't know why it's unlisted though, because this is like a solid level, it's not like bad or anything. XS-1, a name that I cannot pronounce at all. Anyway, let's get started. No reason behind this section. Although, I have played a chart with this song, so maybe it might be recognizable from the tutorials. XS-2, another name that I cannot pronounce. Okay. Seems interesting so far. XS-3. Oh, this rhythm seems very familiar. Oh boy. XS-4. Another name that I cannot pronounce. Okay, that got a little... That was a little bit of a funky rhythm. XF-5, another name that I cannot pronounce at all. Oh boy. Okay, there you go. That one was a little bit of a longer detour. Alright, so we have Secret Boss, composed by Camellia, and charted by Damning. There's no reason behind the suggestion, and let's go. You might have noticed a cut, and that's because I went away and ate some food, so yeah. Anyway, but we're ready to play some Do-Fi on a full stomach, so, you know, should theoretically be an advantage. Although I am kind of like always, you know, not starving whenever I play these. So, I mean, don't think you'll really see much of an advantage, but whatever. The funny thing about this song is that it's actually surprisingly fast. Say this is very Uncharted, but that's fine.
Hey, stop it.
Ooh, checkpoint though. But yeah. The song is, you know, decently fast. I think it's like 220 BPM, I think. So, you know. Definitely gotta have a bit of a tapping finger. Oh, that was a really bad extra tap there. Holy crap. There you go. Oh yeah, so normally the song would be a lot more longer than that, but Deming always prefers to pick the more shorter. I think they actually edit these longer songs into more short versions, I think, because I don't think I can ever find these short versions like on a separate, on like online or anything like that. So props to them for making like short versions on their own. Although I will say the cutoff is a bit funny, since you're expecting like this huge like drop in the beat, but then it just ends the song. But I mean, I guess it is an appropriate ending, so I guess it's not too out of place. Letters to Lovely Days, composed by and charted by Hyunsu. Let's get started. Okay. Nice swing beat, that's nice to see. Oh, really fast scaling triangle. All right. That, well, alright, I kind of got a little too focused on the back-to-back that I kind of forgot to count. That's fine, though. Like, I don't know why, but like my mind is just like drifting off into other things right now. But alright, I think I should be a little bit more focused now that I'm actually failing a little bit. Although I suspect that this is the kind of chart that has no checkpoints at all, so yeah. Okay. I was about to say, like, you know, the rhythm was kind of repeating there a couple of times, but now that you got a good old nice red twirl action, I guess. Oh, it is slow, so it's not that hard to read at all. God, I keep on losing count of those triangles. Whoa. Whoa. A little funny BPM acceleration at the end there, I think. Anyway, that was a pretty, like visually pretty simplistic chart, but definitely did get tricky with some of those triangles, I will say. Just because I didn't know how to count them out in my head, because they do go by a little quickly, but It's fine. Just had a little hiccups with that, but besides that, everything else went pretty swimmingly with this chart. A Tiny Spaceship's Final Mission, composed by Phantom Menkei, and charted by Fluffy Yoshi. Let's get started on this. Ooh, alright, double BPM action, that's what y'all like to see, I guess. I will say, I haven't heard this composer's music, like, kind of sprinkled throughout the entire playthrough, and I will say I do like all the music. Yeah, wonder if the double BPM sections are going to get a little more complicated than that. I mean, it does seem pretty simple since it's always just outside 3-point turns all the time. Is that like a soundbite from like some random video game? It does certainly sound like it. Oh, checkpoint? Honestly, I was kind of expecting this level to have like no checkpoints at all, but whatever. Unless like we're about to like get into something really crazy. Alright. I mean, that was kind of crazy, relatively, you know? I mean, like, obviously not in the grand scheme of things. Also, wow, holy crap, that was a really awful double tap. Anyway, when I say relatively, because, you know, Solo didn't do anything too crazy besides those, double BPM outside 3-point turns, but so, you know, having a back-to-back loop to there, a little bit of a difficulty spike, but hey, I do respect that they put a checkpoint, so it's nice. Oh, look at this rhythm, though. I respect that rhythm there. Alright. Ooh. Okay. That was a nice section. Okay. Nice, alright, cool. That was a really solid chart, I really liked it. It's pretty nice. It's also a nice, neat little, bit more on the easier side of, like, you know, double BPM charts. It doesn't really do anything, like, super crazy. But, it does get a little more tricky once you get to the later half of the chart. But, hey, that was really fun to play. I really like that. And let's move on to the next one. Alright. Oh, you know what? I was not expecting this level to have tutorials, but whatever. DV-1 Helm. Oh boy. This is the same charter. I'm pretty sure this charter does make the music. I mean, I can do real music. It's a little wonky, but it's not terrible. DV-2 Glasses. Wow, okay. This is actually a really cool looking pattern, actually. Does look a bit wonky visually to look at, but there you go. So you have Dovin, composed by Camellia and charted by Astro Overseer, and Purple 0702. So let us get started. I mean, if those are the extent of all the hard rhythms of this chart, then I don't think we'll be in much trouble. Especially because this bass BPM is pretty slow. But man, who knows, I might be proven wrong though. Okay. Ooh. That is a really cool rhythm, actually. It's like a peanut. Okay. Ooh, I'd have a bit of a fast reaction to that square. Holy crap. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah, there are some visual cues that do tell you when those things are showing up, so I just have to be very attentive. Oh, nice checkpoint too. Nice. I really like this rhythm, actually. Holy crap. Also, the song, I really like it too. I mean, even though it's a bit on the laxery side on Camellia songs, it's still pretty good. Nice. This is very undercharted, but that's fine. It's pretty good starting still. See, like, if this was like any other normal, like if the chart before this wasn't instead of like a precedent that was gonna be this speed, like that probably would have been a double BPM section. Like adding like a triangle onto this like lamppost, I guess. You just gotta, yeah, like holy crap. I will say, like, damn. Sometimes I just forget those squares exist. But thankfully, the chart is still pretty slow regardless, that I can just react to them anyway. But man, it's gonna be a little scary. There you go. Does the song actually go longer than this? No, it's ending, I think. Yeah, it's fading away. That was a nice chart, though. I really like it. Nice visual. Nice visually, I guess. Just kind of chilling in the city, I guess. Alright, so we got Chrysanthemum, composed by Brody Code and charted by Yule. I'm pretty sure I pronounced the song title wrong, but you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. Anyway, let's get started. Very regal song, but that's kind of what I expect from this composer too. So. Alright. For a second I thought that that slow section was gonna be a little bit longer, but the rectangle proved me wrong. This seems oddly familiar. I fucking knew it. Alright. Seems like the song was looping again. There you go. Pure perfect. That chart was actually not that tough, I will say. See, I was expecting a lot more, but it was just pretty basic actually, and the rhythm itself just repeated once again with just triangles and squares and rectangles to try and like throw you off when they appear. But overall, not really that tough at all. But it's pretty solid. All right, so we got Elevator nerfed, composed by Infinity and charted by Hot Duck and Fluffy Yoshi. Now. This one was an interesting reason for why I should play this, and it is, it's, experiencing when you are in a hurry to get somewhere, and every second counts, and that's what they said. It's a very, different way to suggest a level, but we'll see what they mean by what their comment is. So, it does have a strict though, so I wonder when it gets fast, because so far, just from the brief review of what I heard from the song, it seems like a pretty relaxing song. So yeah. Oh! God, okay, how fast? Oh boy. Okay, yeah, oh, wow, we're steadily approaching that fast, holy crap. Okay. Wow, what a interesting level. Wow. Good suggestion. I will say, good suggestion. I love that challenge that this level presents, actually. I love that. This is the nerfed version, by the way. I don't know how... This gets buffed later on, so I wonder how this gets actually... Like, they sent me the nerfed version, but I guess the harder version of this might be, like, really insane or something. Maybe because it seemed like the song kind of cut off there, so maybe the song just goes on longer after this. 360 BPM. Oh boy. I mean, thank God it didn't go up to like 390, because if it goes up to like 390, that we're talking about like Maelstrom and like Overflow and charts like that. Those are like really fast speeds that like I could theoretically handle it, but it's very hard for me to like maintain it. All right, let's get started. Secret Boss, composed by Chameleon, charted by Damning. Still a relatively tough chart, I guess, considering it's still pretty quick. Although I think this might be just a bit more easier than the other chart of this, just because it's not as long and the patterns aren't as complicated. But it still is quite fast, so you still gotta watch out for it. Although I think there are some checkpoints, and luckily all the patterns are tutorialized, so you should be fine, but still be a little bit careful. Letter to Lovely Days, composed by I think this is just another hard, just because of those triplet triangles. I mean, I think the song does have a moderate pace, but the triplet back-to-back triangles are quite insane, I will say. It gets quite quick too, but I think once you get used to that, it should be relatively fine, but it does bump up the pace quite a bit when it gets to those triangles. But luckily, I think that's like the only time you gotta worry about it, and there are no checkpoints too, so that's something to also consider as well. A Tiny Spaceship's Final Mission, composed by Phantom NK, I think insane. Now, I was normally probably going to put this in just like a hard or something like that, because the double BPM sections at the beginning portion of the level aren't that tough. Although, it does pick up the pace quite a bit once you start getting into those later sections. I will say it is not as tough as probably many other double BPM sections in the insane category. It's probably on the easier side, but I still think it's quite tough when it gets to those points in the chart, just because it does get quite fast, and there are some square shenanigans you gotta worry about, but there are checkpoints like right before that, so luckily you don't have to like go through the entire chart in like a regular playthrough. Although the Adobe editor can always help you with that if levels do not contain any checkpoints at all. Dovin, composed by Camellia. I think a normal, really. The chart is actually pretty slow. I mean, not as slow as like 4x or anything like that. And if it was just slow, I'd probably just put in like easy. But because the patterns here are relatively complex in nature, like if it was a little bit faster, this chart would probably be a lot more tougher. But because it's quite slow, you have a lot of time to react to the patterns coming up ahead. They're tutorialized, there's checkpoints. So that's a lot of stuff that kind of makes the chart a lot more easier to kind of deal with. Although, what else makes this a little bit tougher is that you have these track animations. Now, you might have limited time to react to them, although they are consistent, and there are some visual cues that can help you predict when these tiles appear, and even then, even if you misreact to them, they're still pretty slow to a point where you might get a late for it, but that's kind of it. So, yeah. Although I will say that does make the chart a little bit tougher, so that's why I think I'm going to put it in normal for the time being. Chrysanthemum, composed by Rody Code. Maybe on the tougher side of the normal charts, but I still feel like it fits here just because the main rhythm of the chart is very repetitive, and the only thing you really got to worry about are just triangles and squares appearing. But generally, it really won't be that tough to deal with them, since there's like squares, rectangles, and triangles. That's kind of like the three things you got to worry about. And none of those patterns are really that complex at all, and they're very, very consistent throughout the entire chart. So it should be quite easy to really address this one, and probably a pretty relatively easy clear, considering, you know, most of the charts I play are what I consider advanced and hard. Elevator, nerfed, composed by Infinity. This is what I like to consider an insane chart, and I really like this chart. So really, if you know, it's essentially a level where you repeat the same rhythms over and over, but over time, as you go through each and every single loop, it gets progressively faster and faster until it reaches 360 BPM. Some charts are in here in the insane category are probably 360 BPM or around that ballpark, but I think what makes this kind of tough is that, you know, you just have to kind of keep it up with it, you know, you have to really get through with it. Although I will say, you know, once you get used to the rhythm, it probably gets a lot more easier to do it at a higher speed, since it just keeps on repeating over and over until at the end section. But the end section is kind of just like S-bends like constantly, so it's not like you really have to deal with like a new complex beat all at the end. I will say the speed and the pace, it's a really interesting chart, and I think it really offers itself well, especially with the visual style that the level presents. And that's really it for all the custom levels I played today. Hopefully you enjoyed them as much as I have, and hopefully I'll see you another day.